So hey guys, welcome back to TEJART. Today I'll be telling you how I got through my coaching phase and basically how my life went from my inter first till my college right now. So I don't know where to begin with, but I'll just start with how I chose architecture in the first place. So there's a lot before how I chose architecture. So I'd like to tell you all of that because if you're a person who is thinking of joining architecture or who's like just exploring all the career options, that was exactly where I was before I chose architecture. So I'll tell you how my story went. So when I was in 10th, the option I had was BPC or MPC. So obviously I took MPC, and after choosing MPC I got into FITZY college. So in FITZY it's basically they just push you towards IIT. They actually don't push you like how Chaitanya and Narayana does, but FITZY is more like they just leave you to your own. But then if you're in the first or the second section, that's where you will have a little push. Anyways, all of that aside, I was into FITZY, and I was basically preparing for IIT and all of that. So engineering basically. And then in my inter, probably in the beginning of the inter, I don't remember the correct date. So my dad took me to this career fest, which was held in some huge hotel, probably Taj in Hyderabad. And so me and my father, we went there, we attended it, and that is where I was, I was like, kya re? What is that?
2,000 years later.
I was introduced to a lot of careers, different, pathways and all of that. So so what happened in the fest was, it was like, I don't know who conducted it. It was like long ago, right? So what they did was, they conducted workshops or sessions and talks. So basically they conducted talks, sessions, and oh my god, people like telling you what the career is all about, right? So they were divided into different halls, and in each hall they were like explaining about what different careers are. For example, there was law. So there were like people related to the law education and all of that, and then they tell you what law is all about. So basically they clear all sorts of doubts, and people come there with parents, and even for international education. So basically there's guidance, face-to-face guidance. They guide you towards. It was not like stalls, but it was more like a huge hall filled up with people, and there's a mentor speaking to you about the career. So I didn't know what I was interested in. So obviously I did not go to the engineering hall, because everyone talks about it, we know what it is. So I wanted to do more, explore more options. So before going to that fest, I was already interested into fashion design. That has been my thing from a long ago, from when I was like this much. So I was like, chalo, let's go to design and see what design tells you, like what design is as a career. So we went to that design hall, right? So it was a very small hall, compared to all the other halls. It was a very small one, because there's not a lot of people wanting to know what design is, right? Because it's not even known. It's like it doesn't exist to people who don't know about design, but who know about design is different, right? So we went to the design hall, and that is where I had it in mind ki design is my thing, right? I know what you're thinking right now. I'm talking about architecture, why is all of this stuff coming? Let me go, I'll just take you there. Let me complete the story before it, right? So design, I took design. No, I did not take design. I chose in my head that yes, design is what I want to do. And that is when I started exploring more options in design. What design is, what the types of design are, and what the colleges are for design. So this was all in the beginning of inter or yeah, it was in the middle of my inter first. So that is when I got to know that there's fashion. I mean, I knew there's fashion and different types of designs, but this is the time when I got more clarity, right? You got it. That is when I got to know that there's like apparel design, there is interior design, there is product design, there is way too many designs, right? And the colleges for design. So obviously on the top there's NID, and for fashion there's NIFT, and like Arch College of Design, and ISDI. There are a lot of colleges for design. So that is when I thought, yes, design is my thing. And this continued till I wrote my NATA exam. This continued till I wrote my NATA exam. You know what I'm like? You understand what I'm trying to tell you, right? Ante till NATA exam, till I wrote that exam, I wanted to do design in my head for sure. But then life, I don't know like how it takes me into different paths. At last, I got into like architecture. So okay, so what happened after me fixing that I want to do design is that is when I was like looking for the exams that I have to write. So that's when I understood that we have different different entrances for different colleges. So if I want to get into ISDI, for suppose, I'll have to write the entrance for ISDI, right? If you want to know what ISDI is, you can check it out in Google. I'm not going to put any description link and all of that, no. So yeah, where was I? Yes. So that is when I got to know what type of questions that I'll be asked in my design, like entrances and all of that. So the next step, what would a person do? We would go and choose coaching colleges or coaching centers, right? So I was looking for coaching centers and I wanted to do coaching in the best possible. So whenever I type for coaching classes for design, coaching, whatever, the first ad that comes up is BRDS, Bhavar Rathore Design Studio. I was like, this looks like very enticing. What's enticing? I don't even remember the meaning, Ray. Enticing. Okay. So I was like, yes, BRDS looks fine. It looks, amazing. And I got to see that they provide a lot of, like coaching, not just, design coaching. So it basically like coaches you for NIFT or NATA or all the, architecture colleges ka entrance and, design ka colleges also. So I was like, yes, I'm gonna do it over here. But we're not in Hyderabad. I wanted to go to the head office, which is in Ahmedabad, and do my coaching. And Ahmedabad, like, it's not like that far, right, from Hyderabad. So I was like, yeah, it's not a big deal. I can go and do it over there. So the coaching was for about 15 days, which I dragged it and, like, kind of like made it 20 days. Not a big deal because it's not like very strict over there. So I went to the head office in Ahmedabad and I stayed there in what is that called, PG, with a few of my weird friends who are not my friends now. Because everyone's in their own path, right? Yeah, so I lived there for like 20 days and then learned a lot about design entrances and design colleges. And that was in inter first summer vacation, like after my inter first, right? So after that, I came back. Again, I was preparing for IIT. No, in the flow. I did not prepare for IIT. I was just, like going ahead with college. And then after that, I applied for all the design colleges. Not all of them, obviously. Yeah, so what I mean to tell you is, after meeting people from different places in BRDS and like knowing their point of view, perspectives, and like what they think about different colleges from their places, I understood like the hierarchy of colleges is like different. And after that, I obviously had my mind more towards fashion design, interior design, and product design. Three of them. And then it was time for the entrance exams, and I applied for almost all the top colleges that we always hear of. So obviously NID, NIFT, MIT, which is Maharashtra, and ISDI, Mosaic, and etc., etc. So yeah, after applying to all of that, I was preparing for those exams as well as my board exams. So it was time for our entrance exams, and before the entrance exam, BRDS again, what they did was they conducted like a revision session. So I again had to go there. This was, I don't know, somewhere. I stopped going to this Fidzi Ray. I stopped going like around in December. No, like from November I stopped going. I didn't even study anything for board. I just left college basically, and I was sitting at home and I was learning for design, and I was, you know, making portfolio, like understanding what portfolio making is for college entrance and all of that. So then BRDS conducted a revision session. So again I had to go there. This time it was for I guess it was for 30 days or something. Yeah. And this time what we were told is you know, like how to make portfolio and like what different colleges consider in a portfolio and what different colleges are good for. For example, ISDI is good for interior and fashion. And I started making my portfolio. Now the problem was, as I told you, I like interior, fashion, product. So in my portfolio, I mixed all of that because I had a lot which was related to fashion, a lot which was related to interior and product as well. So I was like, I mixed up everything. So when I took those you know, like design exams, I qualified. After qualification, they like you know, call you for interview in which you'll have to show your portfolio. So after like I took my portfolio to, you know, like show it to them, the portfolio round, they were like confused, like what do you want? Okay, it's fine to be confused, but what are you interested in? So that's when I told them ki ye teen I'm interested in. So yeah, I got selected after that. Now here comes the tricky part. I interacted with people who like who are into product design and like what are they doing right now, right? So they preferred saying that architecture is a professional course. So like, why don't you do architecture first? Like, I'm looking at a design, right? Both of them are compared in real life. So architecture, why don't you take architecture? That is a professional course and you can do a lot more after doing architecture, because I can get into interior design, which was one of my 3 options, and I can even do product design. I can basically do anything after architecture and even fashion, but I didn't have that knowledge back then, which I have now. So I got to know that after doing architecture, we can basically mold our life however we want to, and we can do whatever we want to. So I was still confused between fashion and architecture though. So that is when I wrote NATA, which I really did not want to write. I was like, "Arey, rape exam undi. Should I even go? Like, is it needed?" So I was like in such dilemma before I went to NATA. So here now you know that I did not prepare for NATA at all. I prepared for design exams, right? So the same knowledge I implied in my NATA exam, because it's almost the same. GK is the same, aptitude is the same, and math is the same, MPC. So yeah, all of these subjects were similar. A few of them were similar, and except the part where they asked architectural, like terms when I wrote NATA. But still, because I was good in aptitude, I could score really well in NATA, which was totally unexpected. I mean, after scoring 140, I don't know how the marking is done now, because the paper pattern is completely different. And so when I got 140, which was like pretty high for that time, I was like, wait, I didn't even know if 140 was a good mark. I didn't know, because I didn't have anything to compare with, right? Like, if there's a person and he or she wrote the exam and then they got their marks, that's when you know ki yeah, your marks are like pretty low, or like you can like compare, right? I didn't know if my marks were great. Basically, I had to get into architecture only by writing NATA, which turned out like pretty good. Yeah, and my board scores were also good. I don't remember the percentage. Yeah, so somehow I ended up in my college, which is SVCA. I did not officially tell you my college, but I'll just tell you, I'm in SVCA Hyderabad. If you don't know what SVCA is, it's Sri Venkateswara College of Architecture. SVCA, yeah. And it's affiliated to JNFAU, which is Jawaharlal Nehru. If you don't know, please Google it, man. And of Hyderabad, and yeah, so that's my college. So that's how I ended up in architecture. Okay, so before getting into architecture, I told you what happened, right? So I'm pretty sure you did not listen to the whole video, but still, the whole point of making this video is I was not even sure of getting into architecture till I wrote the exam, and I did not dream of architecture at all. But later I got to know like what architecture holds for me in the future, and what all possibilities architects can have after completing their architecture, and basically how vast architecture is. And not just architecture, obviously design is a very vast field, very vast field, but yeah, well, architecture was like more, it pulled me into itself, right? Yeah, the course just pulled me into the course. So this is the BRDS building that I studied in Gujarat. I'm just gonna run through a few pictures. Yeah, so this is the classroom over there. It was like a hall, come a few classrooms here and there. So yeah, for discussion. So this one was for group discussions and stuff. And also there's that projector you can see. Yeah, and we were also taught some anthropometry. Yeah. And this is another view of that hall. Yeah, and this was me on the last day, like leaving for Hyderabad. And because I lived in PG, I had to have PG's food, and it was terrible, to be honest, because we had the same food on repeat, and it was very stupid. And this is a dog who used to sleep inside our house, and this is the bedroom that I lived in. Oh my god, terrible, man, terrible. Oh yeah, so this is ISDI, and I'll just pause. Yeah, okay, let me just go. So this is ISDI. Yeah, so we went there for, me and my mom, we went there for interview round, as well as the portfolio round. Yeah, so we also had a tour of ISDI, so they showed us all the facilities that they had. And this one over here, this was another experimentation for my career. So I went to ISDI for participating. Wait, let me pause. So for participating in that competition which you see over there. So this competition was, we were like divided into groups. There's a picture over there. So that was my group. Yeah, so which you can see there. So that was my group, and we were like divided into groups, and each group was given a different topic. So our topic was Vincent van Gogh. He is the great artist of Starry Nights, which so that was our theme or our inspiration. So this was our final product. We had to make two different dresses. So this one was the the longer one, and that was the short model, and we did not stitch them by ourselves though. We had Master G's who, we don't call them Master G's in Hyderabad, but over there people who stitch, who tailor the clothes are Master G's. I don't know if that is done over here, but still, okay. So this happened in ISDI. So what I learned from this was how fashion works. Like, not completely, but I at least understood how it would be if I were in fashion design. Yep. So that was it. So at last, after so much that I did in design, I got into architecture. As you can see, because there's a lot that was not at all related to architecture before I got into architecture. So if you are like in 10th grade or 11th grade and you are thinking about getting into architecture, don't don't force yourself into architecture. Just explore as much as you can, but somehow you'll fall into the stream that you are meant to be in, right? So yeah, that was the story.